Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Master of the Universe He-Man Origins Wind Raider. We're going to take a look at it, all the features, and how it differs from the vintage, how it's improved for the vintage, coming up. So let's take a look at this thing in the packaging, and it just does look huge in the packaging. It's big box, and you're getting what you pay for the $30 price point. I do believe that the vintage packaging did not have an opening. You could not see the actual Wind Raider in the vintage one, but this is great looking artwork, and I don't know how close it is to the vintage stuff, but it looks good. You've got artwork up top here. You've got a cross sell down below, kind of seeing what's going on. Hey, go pick up that Castle Grayskull at your local Walmart. Yeah, right. Anyway, here it is. Let's get it out of the box and have a good look at it. First thing I want to say is that this thing has some size about it. It's a big vehicle, and it looks really good, considering that pretty much everything that the vintage one had, this has, and then some. So, getting to look at it, you're going to notice I don't have a vintage or an Origins figure in there. Instead, I have the Revelations, the new bigger ones, and these guys are even a little bit bigger than Classics, so they fit just fine. Now I'm starting to think that all these vehicles coming out are going to double for vehicles that you can use for your Revelations figures, and that makes a lot of sense. That is kind of a cross-platform there. If you want vehicles for your Revelations, you can use these vehicles. I really don't know if they're going to come out with Revelations only vehicles in the future. They might, but for Origins, these work, and all the figures will fit in there just fine. So, looking at it on the side here, we have stickers like they did with the original, but we also have paint apps right here and here. So it's a combination of paint apps and stickers, and we got a sticker back here, and it's all pre-applied, so I don't have to sit around putting stickers on myself. I like that about this. It's pre-applied stickers, pre-applied paint. We have a sticker up top here. A lot of this is just like the vintage one, so looking really good. I like it. Now, looking at the wings, you do have to assemble the wings. You have to put the tail piece on. All that's shown in the box there. So I kind of like that it's pretty much true to the original with an upgrade to it. I think it's important to show what this looks like with an actual Origins figure in it. And you can do a lot to make it, he could like sink all the way down in there, or you can have him hold himself up like so. There's a lot of things you can do with this guy to make it look good, but it looks good. I mean, anyhow you slice it, it does look good, and if you really wanted to, you could take his sword out, and he could hold this, and maybe you could, fake it to where his open hand is holding the other one, but yeah, I mean, it looks good no matter which one of them you put in there. That doesn't look great the way I did it, but it fits them, and it'll also fit a Classics. And some of you may know I don't have a real Classics He-Man. I know BBTS had them for like a year for 50 bucks, and I kept just waiting and delaying, thinking they'd go on sale. Little did I know they didn't go on sale. Actually, I think BBTS sold off the rest of their stock on eBay for 150 bucks a piece. That's just my belief. But anyway, here it is, and it fits a Classics buck. That's a Classics buck, and it's my homemade Classics He-Man, and it looks pretty good. All right, before we do a side-by-side comparison with the vintage one, let's do the gimmicks. So the gimmicks I know of on this is this front piece here shoots out, which is good, and then you can reel this back in. I think you can just roll it either way, and it has some sort of a kind of a give to it, because if you go too far with it, then it has a little bit of give so that you can straighten the nose out. But there's that gimmick, and aside from that gimmick, it does have some wheels on the bottom, clear wheels that roll. But you also have this. So this hole is going to be where you plug in the flight stand, which is an excellent flight stand, by the way. Here's the flight stand, and I wanted to kind of show that you assemble it. You plug this in, and then you plug this piece in, and then this piece into that piece, and it all unplugs too pretty easily if you want to put it all back in your box for display. But there's the stand. The stand also can connect to the Castle Grayskull I have yet to acquire. But anyway, there it is, and let's see what it looks like on its stand. Here it is on its stand, and it's got the Masterverse figure in there, so the heaviest of all the figures, and it has a ratchet on there. I gotta say, even the $200 Starscream stand ratchet doesn't hold this well. Like, you can have all kinds of different angles that you want to fly, and that works really well. For just a toy, a $30 toy, the stand holds up just fine. It works great, so that's pretty impressive. You've got him on a stand, and he can shoot. So I do want to kind of compare it to some other vintage vehicles that I have, an attack track here. So I've got a vintage attack track, and that's probably kind of a cool vehicle. It's sort of a decent sized one, and it's a little bit longer than an attack track. And then compare it to this guy here, the Sky Sled and all that, and that dude's in rough shape. This vehicle's in rough shape, and so pretty close. I mean, with that wing on there, it's really hard to get them side by side, but it's still longer than either one of these vehicles. But pretty big, just pretty big. It kind of flips the script on all these vehicles. Now, looking at these things side by side, the vintage one is way smaller. I would venture to say half of the size. I didn't realize it was that much smaller. I did know this thing was big, but I didn't know. See, when you get it too close to the camera, it's really hard to tell. And then with the wings kind of separating them. But this thing is just so much bigger than the vintage one. And you notice in hand, I think in hand you notice much more than in the video, but wow. I watched a video about this too, and oh yeah, it's bigger, but not that much bigger. Yes, it is. It's literally twice the size. But looking at it, my stickers are kind of worn. Mine's kind of beat up. It's been through life and stuff, but there's no real paint on this, which I wouldn't have expected it for like the $5 price point back in the day. But you do still have all of these kind of stickers that carry over. All of this all the way through is carried over all the way through here, so it's very good homage. The sticker right here is there, and then you have the stickers on the sides, on the top, and the control panel. The instrument control panel stickers, now they're different. The control panel stickers are different, but they feel similar. And so like all of this stuff, like we have this stripe over here, that's the same, and then a couple of these, so it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. And you know, you get to a point where you start to nitpick. You do have these back engine stickers that are still on there, and that looks pretty good. Now the wheels on the vintage one are yellow or orangish yellow, and they're clear on this one, which to me doesn't really make a difference. Now looking inside here, you can see that we have a seat and we have a lot of detail. Well, not so much detail, but it goes pretty deep. Inside of here, you don't have a seat. It's just very simple. I mean, it's simple for the time, crude for the time. I also want to point out that this does not have a launching mechanism for this piece. This just disconnects and slides out. So that's just a thing that it does. And frankly, I had this as a kid. I never knew this was supposed to plug in there. I mean, the hole's there. I should have known. I just never knew. I mean, I ripped the package in, threw the instructions away, and just had it. So it's kind of nice to know that that works like that. But anyway, way bigger. I also like the different tone of green. It just feels really nice. This feels really quality. It actually feels premium. Feels like something you might get with the Classics line. I don't know how good that one is. Lastly, I do want to talk quickly about what I think about the Masterverse stuff that's out there, and I want to say that it is pretty nice. It's pretty good quality. In hand, looks better than pictures, but I want to say that this stuff here from the Revelations movie, it's hit and miss. My son could not stand the head. My son had to have these, so we've got them for him, and of course, the first thing he does is open them. I don't know where the accessories are for this guy, but we had to get him a new head, so we put on a Classics head. My son likes that a lot better. He actually wants, no, it's not a Classics, it's an Origins head. He wants a Classics head, but anyhow, looking at this stuff does look pretty good. It does feel pretty nice, and it's pretty well articulated, and it's not Origins, and it's $5 more, and it does feel like you get more than your $5 more. But I just think that the designs, the shapes of some of them, it's hit and miss. I think the He-Man's okay, could have been better, but it's kind of a weird shape to him. And the Skeletor I think is pretty good, but the head is all weird looking. But some of the upcoming figures, I think the Man-at-Arms is amazing looking. And there's a few others that are coming up that I really look forward to. And then there's some like Beastman that doesn't interest me. So it's kind of, to me, a cherry picking line if you want to cherry pick it, and it'll mix with your Classics, I think. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with it. And that's my thoughts on the Revelations. So this is my look at the Masters of the Universe, He-Man, Wind Raider, Origins, And versus the vintage, I like this one way more. I like this one way more than the vintage, but the vintage one still has that charm, and the vintage one's the one I had as a kid. But I have to say, looking at it now, I really wished it was a little bit bigger from back in the day, and I wish it had this shooting feature. I would have definitely messed that shooting feature up over the years. But anyway, I think for $30, it is an excellent value. I think that Mattel is doing this line right. If they could get it to market and maintain it to market and the packaging not get destroyed on its way to market, then this is an excellent line. I want them to keep it going. Hope they can crank this stuff out while they still have a license. Like, subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.
Drive them from the palace, my friends, but don't harm them. The goblin warriors are but innocent pawns in Skeletor's game.
The most powerful man in the universe.